Kick-Ass Switch, putting the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you're watching a video about the magic of living in the vortex and going with the flow. I firmly believe in the power of holding a very special dream in your heart and then going about manifesting it with all you've got, you know, with a little bit of action and a little bit of magic. I believe that creating the kick-ass life of your dreams is not only possible, but that it's absolutely the way that it is meant to be. Magic is not evil. Magic is not bad. The law of attraction is not selfish or unholy or against God's will. In fact, I think that if you are practicing it from a place of love or a place of heart center, that it's actually the exact opposite. And I just talked about this on the last episode of Hippie Witch Radio. I was talking about living from heart center and how your heart chakra is actually quite magnetic. And I mentioned this thing. I talked a bit about being in the flow, and I just wanted to expand on that a little bit here because it's something that really interests me. I know I talk a lot about manifesting and setting, you know, purposefully setting a conscious intent to bring something into your life, whether that's money or love, but there's just something to be said too about living in this vortex, as Abraham Hicks put it. And the vortex is really just about being in a state of non-resistance and appreciation. And you'll know when you're in the vortex because you will feel a sense of appreciation. Being in the vortex feels good. It feels very flowy, like being in the zone, being in the flow. Being out of the vortex feels a whole lot like trying your brains out and maybe being in resistance, trying too hard. It can be very frustrating. And once you practice being in the flow or being in the vortex, you know very clearly if you are in or out. And then you start to get very interested in the various techniques that you can do to get back into the vortex. And what's interesting about that is practice and cultivation is something that is very important when it comes to being in the flow. This is something that every good athlete, musician, artist, dancer, these people know what it is to be in the flow, or what they might call the zone. And I talked a bit about that in that episode, about how the Heart Math Institute has actually studied this zone, and you can go over to Heart Math Institute's website and read a bit more up on that. But it's just about that moment when you are tuned in, tapped in, and turned on. Which brings to mind sex. Really good sex is when two people are in the flow, when they are in the zone. It's when you find yourself really carried away and deeply involved in something. And it's something, like I said, that you can cultivate with practice. That's why so many of us meditate on a regular basis. Eckhart Tolle, he talks about the power of now. How now is your point of attraction. In fact, now is all there is. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened yet. And now is all you've got. You know you're living in the past if you're experiencing feelings of regret, feelings of guilt, maybe even feelings of longing. You may be living in the future also if you're feeling feelings of longing, but you're very much living in the future if you're feeling anxiety or stress. It's in the power of now. It's in the present moment that you can let all of that go and you can get into this thing I'm talking about called the flow or the vortex or the zone or the now. All words for the same exact thing. It's the place where magic happens. And I don't mean, yes, it's magic that you need to be able to apply to consciously creating something that you want to manifest, but it's also where just the magic of living happens. The magic of being able to appreciate and enjoy what you have now. The family you have now, the friends you have now, the job, the home, all that you have now. And what's interesting is when you are living in this place of appreciation, like attracts like. So you're vibrating at a certain level that is going to bring more of that into your life. More happiness, more appreciation, more of the good stuff. So it's a good thing to cultivate in your life. It's a good thing to practice. And also, if you want to specifically manifest something into your life, if you want to be a world-class runner, you can't just set your intention to be a world-class runner and visualize it with all you've got and hold that in your heart and try to align yourself with that if you never run. You have to run. You have to practice. You have to run every single day so that you can get into the zone and get into the flow of being a world-class runner, to where it is just effortless, to where you are in that zone and it is just coming to you. Riders, write. You have to write every single day if you want to be a writer, if you want to be able to get into that flow. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi is a philosopher, a psychologist, a lecturer, a writer, very interesting thinker. He talks about this a lot in his work. He actually has a book called The Flow, and he says that theory is rudimentary and practice is advanced. So theory, you may have a really good idea, you may think you know it all, that you know what it is to be in the zone, that you know what it is to be in the flow, you know everything there is to know about magic. If that's you, you're a beginner. You're still in those rudimentary stages. It's the person maybe even that doesn't know a lot, but the person that is practicing and the person that's been practicing, that is the person that's advanced. That's the person that knows what magic is. That's the person that knows what it is to be in the flow. So there really is something to be said about doing and action and purposely cultivating an experience that you want to have. It's about getting up every single morning and meditating, just like brushing your teeth. When you meditate, you are getting into that place of the vortex, and when you keep saying cultivate, because that's the word that's on my mind, when you nurture that ability in yourself, when you cultivate it, when you practice meditating, it helps you when you leave the meditation mat or cushion and you go out into your regular life. It helps you be able to sustain that feeling of magic and being in the flow on a daily basis. So it's well worth the investment because it allows you to be present to your life as you're living it. That whatever 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes that you spend every morning cultivating being in the zone. Mihai talks about how there are no shortcuts. You have to show up on the mat, on the cushion, on the court every single day. Show up. Practice. Practice being in the zone. Practice being just operating from a state of love and from heart center. Practice being in the moment. That's the key to a magical life. Beyond the things that you can get, beyond the things that you can bring. What can you experience? What can you appreciate now, in this place of being in the vortex or in the zone? Much love. Peace.